probably one of my favourite players in recent times, just in terms of I love those kind of players. I always have. And I really hope we get that over the line.
Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. Now, after the hectic festive schedule, it gives us an opportunity to take a bit of a breather. Myself and Matt today are going to have one of those unscripted discussions where we basically talk about whatever's on our minds. And because we've been so busy with pre-match and post-match games, there's quite a lot that's been going on at the Blues that we've not really had a chance to respond or react to. So the first thing which we saw, and I think people were talking about, but we didn't even sort of have time to mention, was Tom Wagner's New Year's message to the Blues fans. And I want to just some of the things he said. I mean, every time you listen to Tom Wagner talk, you just want to go and walk through a brick wall for him, don't you? But and remember, this is a time as well when he made this on the back of a which is still really, apart from the Coventry, has been a really poor run of form. Some of the things he said, well, this was an interview with the Telegraph. He says that he addressed the issue where other people are trying to be negative about the plans at the Blues and the way the club are going forwards. And he said, we love it when folks on the outside take shots at us and explain all the reasons why things won't happen. And that will make us keep right on doubting us, and we'll keep right on moving forward. And he says to the Blues fans, keep the faith and keep right on. There's a lot of good things going to happen in the next 5 years. Just one final bit, which I think was really good. There's nothing that's going to stop us from pursuing the Sports Quarter project. There's nothing that's going to stop us from growing the revenues. There's nothing that's going to stop us from really becoming a much bigger team. If we don't achieve our goals, we'll reassess why, and we'll make corrections about what went wrong, and then we'll go back at it and we'll get there. It's not a question of if, but when we get there. It's a question of when and how. Right now, I'm just focused on the how. Good message, wasn't it?
It was a good message. You know, Tom Wagner has that effect, doesn't he? Very charismatic. When he talks, you listen. It feels like he fills you with confidence. And, you know, when I watch the open houses, when I listen to him talk, it's surprising how he kind of, you know, has that charisma, really, and kind of gets his point across in that simple yet effective way. And, you know, I think one of my takeaways from that message was patience as well. You know, as a fan base, Dad, we're so eager to get to the Premier League. We're so eager to, improve that away form. And don't get me wrong, this season hasn't been perfect by any stretch. It has had its frustrations. You know, we go to all the away games, Dad, especially, and you can't help but feel really annoyed when you come home. But the takeaway from that message to me was things will come, things take time, Football does move fast, but it does also sometimes progress slowly, doesn't it? I know that sounds like a complete paradox, but actually, the games come thick and fast, the seasons end quickly, but actually to get to where you want to go, sometimes it can take a lot longer than what you have planned or what's going on in your mind. And football's one of those sports where you just have to have that patience, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we as football fans, don't we? We are sort of emotional in relation to how our team are doing on the pitch. So if we're having a bad run of form, we all feel down and negative, and there's a lot of negativity, and I think that's part and parcel of the game. And I think obviously Tom sees this, doesn't he? Because, he came into the club and he's got big plans with Knighthead, and he wants everything to be absolutely perfect. But, it is a roller coaster. And have these types of messages are absolutely brilliant, to, keep the faith and keep right on. That's what we need to do. Keep believing in what they're doing there. And I've said loads and loads of times, and I'm sure Blues fans will be sick of hearing me say this on the podcast, that, as football fans, we want our team to win, but it takes time to build a winning team. You're not going to get, just because you've got money and owners that have got plenty of money and big plans, it doesn't always translate to immediate success. Real success, sustainable success, is made over a period of time. And I think that's partly the hidden message that he's having there. Keep the faith and keep right on.
But I think some fans, Dad, and I'm in this camp as well as to some extent, the stadium reveal is incredible and the sponsorships are incredible and the match day experience down the Blue is incredible. There's really good beer and hot water in the sinks. We're not asking for much, really. All these different things are great. But ultimately, Dad, we want to see a winning football team.
Yeah.
We want to see a good product on the pitch. And I think the beliefs and the fundamentals are there. It just hasn't fully clicked yet.
No.
And there's been certain things which have happened over the last few years. And, this season, if you take an example, the away form not matching up with the home form. And even last season, certain fans were getting frustrated with the pound and the rock. And there's two things to this. You're never going to satisfy every person of every fan club in every fan base. It's just not going to happen. Someone's always going to have a gripe. And two, as I said, it's all about that winning product on the pitch, isn't it? You know, and that's where people get frustrated. Is that, you know, we're in the news a lot, people are speaking about us a lot, but people want to back and support that winning football team, which I completely relate to. And you know, as I said, stadiums and all these things are amazing, but winning football team.
Matt, let's be honest. There's a lot of fans from other clubs out there that want us to fail, to fall flat on our face, and I think that's what he's referring to here. You know, just let them do it.
Yeah.
You know? And we are going to have downs. You know, every time we lose a game, we'll concede a goal. Social media, oh, I thought you were going to win the league, and blah blah blah. Oh, you're never going to fill your new stadium. It's all there. It's always there. But you know, all we need to do, like Tom says, is you know, keep our faith. And even when we do have those downtimes, and we will, we're going to have those defeats, and we're going to have further frustrations, even this season. We know that. It's just to believe that, you know, in a few years' time, we will get there because, you know, you can see by Tom Wagner's drive and vision that he's going to put everything in place for it to happen. But it can't happen instantly.
I'd love to put your comments next to the post-Watford match. Okay? You know? All that optimism. But the point stands, it's like we all get very emotional in the moment after a game or before a game, whatever it is. And then when you take a step back and put it into perspective, you know, wonderful things are happening at this football club.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's interesting because when he made this statement, it was just before the Watford game.
Yeah, I know.
And then, so he made that statement, got everybody fired up, and then the team go and do that. But that's what happens. Yeah. You know, that's what happens in football. But I thought I wanted to...
Just going back to your point though, Dad, you know, you mentioned that everyone wants us to fail, everyone does this. Ever since the stadium got announced, every single fan base that's came to St Andrews at some point has sung 60,000 You're Having a Laugh. Yeah. So again, the good thing is our name's out there. Everyone's talking about Birmingham City. But as you said, the other flip side to that coin is everybody also wants us to fail at the same time.
They do. Every time we concede a goal, every time we lose a game, it's all on social media. Oh, I thought you were going to win the league and blah, blah, blah. But what people don't really appreciate, it does take time. It's not an instant fix, you know, and we need to appreciate that as Blues fans as well, that we are on a journey here. And even though, you know, we've got all this backing now and this fantastic ownership, it doesn't translate to immediate success. I'm absolutely confident that will happen over time. And you're going to have these bumps in the road. Don't forget, this is our first season back in the Championship after being in League One for a season. And, you know, we're still not... Yeah, we are. We're sort of playing catch-up with the teams that are already there because it's a brand new team. And a lot of these players haven't played in the Championship before, but we'll get there. But I wanted to mention that because, you know, we obviously we didn't have the opportunity to talk about that because of the busyness of the Christmas and New Year schedule. Exits from the club, Matt, as well. You know, we've already seen a few, haven't we? At the time of recording, Aaron Cashin has been called back and then sent straight to Blackburn, who he's signed for. Yeah. I noticed that Emil Hansen has gone now because he was on loan at Blackpool. Yeah. He's been sold. I don't know if he was sold or it was a free to Excelsior Rotterdam in the Dutch Eredivisie. So good luck to him. Thank you, Emil. You know, shame it didn't work out. He's one of those players that flattered to deceive a little bit, I believe. He clearly had technical ability, but the age-old problem, there was no real physicalness behind him. But it didn't work out at Blackpool, didn't work out. But good luck he came from Holland, didn't he?
He did.
We bought him from Hercules. Was it Hercules?
I think it was. Yeah,
something like that.
Actually, was Williamson from Hercules? I think he might have been from one of those Dutch teams.
But he knows the Dutch league very well, and he goes with our best wishes.
Sure.
Wish him well. So Cashin's gone. Emil Hansen's gone. Obviously, rumours of other players that will be.
Yeah, I've heard Dykes is off to Charlton. I've heard Leonard is potentially off. Again, it's all just hearsay on social media and various different channels. But the rumours are starting to fly as they always do in January. But I'm also hearing a lot of circulation around players coming in. That again, just from what I'm reading, the Shay Adams rumours are back circulating and all these different things. So again, what I would say about January is don't listen to everything until you either see them in a blue shirt or you see them in a shirt that they've left for the club.
That's a good point.
Because it's all rumours until they
There's an interesting one on X today. Some player, I can't remember his name. I might have written his name down here. Actually, he's a Gambian player, Mane. I think he was. There was some Coventry fan. Commented on his X page. Somebody there was a conversation about it, and he'd written on it. Oh, I've heard he's off to Birmingham. And then all the Blues fans have jumped on that. So, but obviously it's just a comment from a fan. So what you're saying is absolutely correct. A lot of this is speculation, and you have to take a lot of it with a pinch of salt until they're actually here. Clearly, we've bought in Kai Wagner, which we saw his debut against
fantastic
Coventry, and it was very, very good. But again, we've learned, haven't we, Matt, not to get carried away with one performance. Yeah, it was brilliant and probably one of the best debuts I've seen for a few years. But it's just one game, so we want to see him over further games. But all the
course,
signs
yeah.
there, you mentioned about obviously lots of green markers on his stats and stuff like that. But good player, and also as well, there's rumours as well, strong rumours that we're looking to make Patrick Roberts a permanent.
Yes, I've heard that as well. I've heard around the £1 million mark. I'd love that, Dad. I think
Yeah.
he's been him and Dimmy kind of level for their impact on the team since coming in. I think he unlocks teams. He gives us something different. He drives with the ball, and when we get stuck in that side to side, players like Dimmy, players like Patrick Roberts, they make things happen, don't they? They're dangerous.
Yeah.
I love Patrick Roberts. He's probably one of my favourite players in recent times, just in terms of I love those kind of players. I always have. And I really hope we get that over the line.
He's well thought of by the Sunderland fans, because when you look at social media, they're actually reacting to the fact that we might sign him and saying if he does, then good luck at Birmingham. So he'll leave there with a lot of love.
Yeah, they call him the English Messi.
Yeah. No, he's quality, isn't he, as well? Just a few other things as well. I don't want to talk or speculate about the January transfer window, because we've sort of mentioned the players that could be coming and going. Not necessarily coming, but Lee Buchanan, I believe he's close to coming back, and I think that he may go out on loan.
I think so, because we all know Lee Buchanan's a fantastic player, but we do have Cochrane, we do have Wagner. I'm almost talking like we have squad depth now after 2 seasons of not having a left back to cover Cochrane. I'm not saying that to say that Lee Buchanan wouldn't get in the team, because I think he's a fantastic player, but he hasn't played for nearly two seasons.
Yeah.
You can't just come back into the Championship after 2 seasons and just expect to pick it back up. I think Lee Buchanan needs some more match practice, get that fitness up, get that sharpness back, and then welcome Lee back with full arms, because I think he's a great left back, but he needs to fight for his place and get some fitness, I think.
Yeah, and also as well, Bristol Rovers sent Alfie Chang back as well, so he was on loan at Bristol Rovers. I think they've had a torrid season. I think they're quite near the bottom of League Two, but
I thought he was doing quite well.
He was doing okay, but I think they started off okay in the first half dozen games, and then they've really tailed off on a really bad run. Steve Evans was appointed as their manager a few weeks ago, and obviously he's probably decided that he wants to get other, maybe more experienced and physical players in. I don't know, but anyway, he's back, so I've got a feeling he'll go out on loan again. And also as well, what's your thoughts on Lewis Koumas, whether he should stay or whether? We might not have a say in it. I mean, Liverpool might recall him.
I think if it frees up another loan spot, Dad, I think he should go back. I just don't think it's quite worked for him at Blues this season. And by the way, I loved seeing him score against Coventry. On a personal level, I love seeing players score and do well. And I have no ill thought towards Koumas. I think he has signs of a decent player. I don't think he's well-rounded enough yet to make an impact. And, his final delivery isn't as strong as it could be. Sometimes he gets dominated because of his stature in terms of beating his man as well. It hasn't quite worked out. If we can free a loan space up, I'm going to be brutally honest, I think we should take that option. Yeah,
I think with him, I agree with you, and I think like most Blues fans would agree that his output has been quite poor. He's clearly got pace in terms of his energy and stuff like that, and his run to get that goal against Cold was fantastic, breaking their defence and running through.
He's got ability.
It's intelligent, that was. But is he going to have any major impact in the second half of the season based upon who we may bring in? I'd say no, and I think he'll know that. I think his agents will know that. I think his dad as well, Jason Koumas, will look to maybe get into a team that he can get more first-team football. I think he'll have rumours of Cardiff and other teams are interested in him. Well, yeah. But, I don't know what will happen there, but it depends on what Blues do in the transfer window, whether they want to free up another loan space. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there as well. Obviously, at the time of recording, Matt, it's the FA Cup. Just a quick question. Coming up, next game is Cambridge. And what's your thoughts on a cup run, or whether you think we should prioritise the league?
I think last season prioritising the league was really important because it was League One. I think it was a little bit of a blip in Birmingham City's history. We shouldn't have been down there. A lot of things happened, and I'm not going to go through that. But the league was the priority. We had to get back in the Championship. It is still a priority this season because, if we can make a push, great. I can't see that happening this season, to be honest. So I think we should try and go on a cup run. Why not? I think we should prioritise the cups. And if we can go on a good FA Cup run, I mean, again, I'm shooting for the start here. Would anyone, not want a day out of Wembley if that day ever came? I'm going miles ahead here. I'm just making a point. I think we should take the FA Cup seriously.
It ain't just Wembley, is it? Because, we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Port Vale at home, and then they go and draw Arsenal in the next round. So we could get a big team, either come to St Andrews, or we could, as Blues fans, get the opportunity to go to a Premier League round. So I think it's worth having a go. Of course, it is difficult, though, for Chris Davies because he doesn't want players to get injured, but like you said, why not? Why not have a go? And also as well, there's money and revenue associated with progressing in the FA Cup as well, which is all about what Tom Wagner's happy with and what he wants, isn't he?
And we're in January, Dad. Get some players in.
Yeah.
We're thin on the ground. Let's get some players in.
It'd be interesting to see what you think, Blues fans. What's your thoughts? Would you where we are right now in the season? Would you think that we should have a good go in the FA Cup, or do you think we should be more cautious and try and protect our players and maybe focus on the league? I'm definitely for an FA Cup run myself. I think you are as well.
Yeah. I think we should, and I don't think we're going to set the world alight in the Championship this season. And why not give the FA Cup a good crack? As you said, imagine getting like Newcastle away, or going to the Emirates or the Etihad or something. Even during a local derby of some kind. Imagine getting a cup draw of that magnitude. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So I think we should, but let's see what Chris Davies does in terms of we'll see how serious he takes it by the team selection. We know that Klarer is now back from injury, from suspension, right? So he's available for the next league game away to Swansea. So he's our club captain. Something that crossed my mind, I thought I'd ask you is: do you think he should just come straight back into the team? And if so, who would you drop?
We make a point on this channel, Dad, of saying, don't you, if you earn the shirt, you have every right to keep it.
Yeah.
And I think Jack Robinson has came into the left side of centre-back and been fantastic. He's been throwing himself at challenges. He's been aggressive in the way that we need. We speak a lot about physicality and not having that. Jack Robinson gives us that.
Yeah.
And Klarer gives us that as well. And actually, Dad, I think Klarer is arguably one of the players who possibly would come back in the team, because I think he is undeniable of what he gives you. It's not just his physicality and the way he reads the game as a centre half. It is his captain. He's the captain. It's that presence. So if he's going to swap for anyone, it'd be Neumann. So I think you'd keep Jack Robinson at the left side of centre back, and Klarer would go back into the right side of centre back.
That's an interesting one, because it's just something that crossed my mind. I thought I'd ask you, because maybe it's a question for the Blues fans as well. I love Klarer. I always have, and I think he's by right up there with the best of our players, I think. But he got sent off.
He did.
He lost his place, and you would argue that the last performance against Coventry, we won and we beat the league leaders 3-2, and you would say that Robinson and Neumann, have done a good job in there.
I'd say Neumann hasn't been fantastic. He's had the odd game where I think he's been poor.
Yeah.
Poor might be a bit harsh, not to the level that I would be expecting. So, but they had a good game against Coventry, and surely you're only as good as your last game when it comes to picking the squad for the next game.
I think some people would argue as well that Robinson could have closed down both of the Coventry goals better. But you know what? It's difficult, isn't it? As a defender, you're always going to get criticised when you concede a goal, as the goalkeeper does. I will still work on the principle that if a player has done okay and earned his place, he should keep it, regardless of who's there. Because Klarer's got to learn, as the club captain, you can't get stupid sending offs like that. We've mentioned it before. His sending off against Derby County was not needed. It was completely unnecessary.
It was ridiculous.
And I think that he, even though he's our club captain, and if he, by the way, if he comes back in the team, I'm going to be happy because I like him as a player. He's a good, solid player. But I think players need to learn a lesson as well. That if you want to keep your place, you fight for it. And if you get sent off and suspended, and other players come in and do well, you've got to wait.
But Dad, we've seen with Chris Davies, Paik gets his place, Awata gets his place. If those two get their place without question, Klarer's going to get his place back without question. Yeah. I think we'll see Klarer against.
I think you're right about the replacement though. If Klarer comes back in, it will be Neumann that drops out because Robinson's left-footed and he's done all right as well.
And if I was Neumann, I would think that may be a little bit harsh. Again, I will say as a fan, I think some of his performances over the Christmas period were slightly underwhelming. I think he was decent against Coventry. He's had decent games. I think I'd be on the bench looking, going, well, he got sent off. I don't deserve to be subbed for his mistake. And then, so again, Chris Davies has got to manage this, hasn't he, with the players? But I completely take your point, Dad. Klarer was reckless. The question for Chris Davies is ultimately, do you punish that player by saying that's unacceptable, this player's earned it, and you will sit on the bench and earn your place again? Or do you go in and say, well, he's the club captain, he's a very good player, he should get his place back? That's the decision Chris Davies needs to make.
I personally would go with the first option because, I'd say, well, these two players have been fine while you've been out. You got sent off. So you're going to have to wait.
Yeah, so was Leonard in the centre mid, though, and he got dropped straight away.
Yeah, but so we know that. But then having said that, though, I would have thought, at the start of the season, I would never want Klarer dropped for anything.
No.
But I think he's created a situation where he's got sent off as a club captain. Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. They'll look back with probably regret. Probably think I've had a great Christmas anyway. But it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? And so it'd be interesting to see what Chris Davies does. A final thing that we always talk about, and it's a bit of a difficult question to answer. But how do we fix our away form?
I don't know. I don't know where we go from here because it's the same players at St.Andrews as it is at away games. I don't get where that disconnect is coming from. It's not even like it's a little tweak. It's like supporting two different football clubs.
Yeah.
It's staggering. I don't know. But what I will say, Dad, I think we mentioned this on a recent podcast as well. If he doesn't sort that away form out or doesn't change things and he's still consistent with his principles and his setup, that could be the nail in the coffin over time.
Over time, you sort of partly answered the question, really, because you said he sets us up exactly the same home and away, and maybe that's the answer. You don't do that. You set us up differently because we've found, haven't we, that we're better out of possession. So why not play that type of tactic away from home? I don't know, but it is Chris Davis that has to make that decision. So it is going to. That responsibility falls on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And but one thing's for certain, he has to change the away.
Has to change it.
I mean, it's almost like us and the Baggies are trying to compete for the worst team ever away.
I know.
I just hope we can because we need to pick points up away. We have to.
Also, Dad, we've got Swansea coming up and Sheffield Wednesday coming up away.
And
Oxford away. Again, just on paper here, if you're going to make any progression in this league, you have to be looking at 3 points in those away games. You have to.
Yeah.
Just objectively here, you have to beat the teams around you. And at the moment, Swansea are definitely near us. I think they're 2 points behind us. And Sheffield Wednesday and Oxford are in that bottom part of the table. These are perfect games for Chris Davis to show us he's listening and he gets it and he's going to make some changes.
Yeah, and the worst teams to play as well.
They are the worst teams.
You find once the halfway point of the season goes, the teams down the bottom start fighting for their lives. So, but then again, we have to find an answer, and I don't know what that answer is. I'm just fed up of going to away games and basically we're not even competing. We're not even in it. We're not even close. It's just we might as well not turn up. And that's what
we
I
have
want to
got
change.
tickets for Swansea. So
Yeah, well,
I hope you still plan on coming.
We'll have tickets for all of them. I know we will, but I know I'm going to keep going. But I want to see the team, at least give some encouragement that we've got the possibility of getting something out of the game because it's a long old journey there and back, isn't it? And to have performances like that. But so that's it, mate. I've got nothing else that's on my mind. Anything else on your mind for you?
I think we covered a surprising amount of ground actually with that one. I enjoyed that and. We go in the FA Cup on Saturday and then back away at Swansea in the league the following weekend. As you said, Dad, key thing for me is improving that away form. But lots to discuss. Never a dull day as a Blues fan, is there? No,
there isn't. And of course, we've got the transfer window as well. So I'm sure that's going to give us plenty of talking points over the next few weeks as well. So as always, Blues fans, love to have your opinions, your comments. Please leave them below. You may have seen the last podcast we put out, just to remind everybody, because of the volume of comments we're getting now, we're not responding to comments anymore because it's literally physically impossible. But we do want to encourage you to keep putting your comments in there because this is about the Birmingham City fan base, not about us, and it's a good place for you to give your opinions in there. As always, keep them clean and respectful because we are going in, checking them, and just reading them as well. So if you did like this podcast, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you find us on there as well. And you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already and you'd like to, and there really is no obligation to do so whatsoever, but if you do, hit that big red subscribe button. And if you want notifications every time we put a new podcast out, then there's a little bell icon next to the subscribe button. So hit that, and every time we put a new podcast out, you'll get a notification pop up on your PC, laptop device, or whatever you use. So that's it for this one. And myself and Matt, see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.